I feel like I need to be 2 more deep. I don't know why I feel like that. I just feel like for some reason there's something in me telling me I needed to be 2 more deep. So here we are. And I feel like maybe this is the level that we need to build at. Do we have any like plank type deals? Let's build some planks. Ooh, this should be more than enough, right? Surely 27. What's that? Like a 7x3 house? That doesn't seem right. We will maybe get some of these ones going. Birchy boys. Maybe we should build some birch floors. Can you put them that close together? Okay. If it doesn't grow, we'll just come back and sort it out later. Should we have smoker? I know we haven't really done much, but let's have a berry. Oh, I didn't pick it up. Where did it go? Or I did. Let's have a raspberry for our lunch break. No, we're not hungry yet. Never mind. Right, so what did we say? 27. That's not going to be big enough. I'm going to need to cut some more trees down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 by 8. 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll be impressed with my counting, no doubt. That one I went way too far because I wasn't counting. Bit of a catch-22, really. Do I sound like I can't count in my head and count out loud and make sure that I get it right? Or do I do what I just did then and not count out loud and then end up missing out? Oh, look, I've dug too far again. You know what happens when you dig too deep. So, yes, the weekend, Mother's Day. I hope everyone had a great Mother's Day, whether it's be with their mother or the mother of their kids, or maybe just even in remembrance of a mother that is no longer with us. Hopefully, it wasn't too horrible and painful for everyone. Obviously, the fact that we're sort of locked down and away from each other can be a reason for the holidays or seasons. And I assume it's Mother's Day everywhere in the world. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. Yeah, it can obviously feel a bit overwhelming sometimes when you're celebrating holidays and you're not with loved ones, whether it be in lockdown or whether they're no longer with us. So hopefully it wasn't too painful for you, and hopefully you guys had a great time. I'm obviously blessed enough to have a mother in the house, being the mother of my children, and also both my wife and my mother still being alive. So it was, even though it was a distant Mother's Day, shall we say, where it was voice calling and whatnot, it was still quite the enjoyable occasion. So hopefully everyone else had a good time. We're I think at an interesting point with, as I said, with Sydney, our hometown, or my hometown rather, easing restrictions a little bit on the lockdown. So there's opportunity for more people to visit at once, which is good. And there's the shops and retail and what have you. I believe are starting to open up a little bit more. So I think we're starting to get maybe near the point where we're starting to get through most of it, which is good and exciting. But I'm also a little worried about the whole it coming back again now that things are starting to relax a little bit and people, I guess, taking a little bit less care with the whole social distancing and whatnot. So fingers crossed it's all good and we can all get back to normal and life can resume as it was. This may be triggering some people too because it looks like this is not evenly square, but I've gone one too high on this too. Sorry about that. Get up there. Hey. Alright, so we'll leave a bit of a gap for a door. Yeah, it's definitely... Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just an illusion. Trick of the mind. I'm feeling like something like this sort of deal. Oh, terrible. Look, it's not even... symmetrical, so we can't. Gonna have to do double doors. Now I feel like the music's really loud. Is that because I turned everything else down? I've gone too high. Look at that bee getting up there. Can bees fly all the way up there? I don't know. You, and you. Thank you. So yeah, we're interesting little stage that we're in at the moment. I feel like it's been a almost should we have two doors? An indoor and an outdoor. Why not? Terrible. Come on. Is that triggering anyone watching me build? Because like I said, it's not really my thing. We'll put you there, we'll put you there, we'll grab you there. Right. You, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Hey. And you can close. And we'll maybe grab... I wonder if the doors change. I did have some extra doors lying around somewhere too, I think. Is that them in there? Are we going to trigger people again? Did I just look at it and not see it? I won't tell anyone. So what else is new? What else is happening? We've got, I guess sport is trying to figure out how to return to us, which we've got some things like the UFC going ahead with no crowds. I wonder how that, as an entertainer, I imagine as a sportsman, I imagine some of the rush, some of the what's the word? Motivation probably comes from having a sort of large crowd of people chanting and screaming your name. So, thank you very much, Rusty. It probably is set for League. I definitely have a thing where I set up the title. I think what happens is if sorry, let me just fix it before we. And thank you for the message and thank you for joining me. I hope all is well. Hope you had a good Mother's Day. Yeah, sorry. I think what happens is I set it up to change over the title, and I think if I hit go on the stream before I change the title, which sometimes I do, maybe don't tell Twitch in case they. What's the penalty for streaming in the wrong section? Anyway, I think what happens sometimes is it doesn't update if I've already started the stream before. Hopefully that sorts it out. Let me know if it has. If not, I don't know, maybe back out and come back. I keep finding random cobblestone around the joint. Now either someone's living with me. I've got a flatmate in here that just likes throwing cobblestone around the joint. Which I've had some interesting flatmates in my time. Maybe I'll get onto that when I sort out what I'm doing here. Was it sleeping time? No, it wasn't. Let's go white cobblestone. Well, this is just cobblestone, but we'll go this as well. We'll mix it through. All right. Well, now I've lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about. I'm sure it was very important, though. Maybe it'll come back to me. So, yeah, flatmates. Some interesting ones that I've had over the years. We had we used to live with a flatmate. Well, actually, we lived in London for a little while. And it took, ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Anyway, that'll do. So we lived in one place, and basically London was, at the time, we were both struggling. I was working as a MC, and that sounds a lot more exciting than it was. It wasn't, hip-hop rap MC. It was literally comparing events. I used to do things like pub events, like the Australian Day was a big one at a pub chain called the Walkabout. I used to like be the host for that and whatnot. So I used to run trivia nights, all that sort of stuff. So we were still, I don't know if we were poor, but we were, struggling travellers who were doing our best at the time. So we used to share with quite a few different. Well, we lived in a couple of different places, but we used to share with quite a few different people, and they were always very interesting characters that we lived with. We had one lady who I'm pretty sure. So initially it was my wife, I guess partner then, girlfriend. I don't know. Do people say partner? She lived with two other women, and I just sort of rocked up one day and said, "All right, well, I'm moving in." And while I understand that she was okay with it in terms of me just joining the household, I'm not real sure how okay she actually was with it. So she was very cold to me, which I guess I can understand. I just rocked up and said I was going to live there. So both of them open at once. Oh, wow. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I can sort of understand where she's coming from, but yeah, at the same time, what a bitch. No, she wasn't. She was lovely. But I think she was also doing like a PhD or something. And no matter how many times I told her the PhD joke, she wasn't all that keen on it. We should maybe do a bunch more. Yeah, so she used to not like me very much. Anyway, we had an issue with the. Well, okay. So first things first, me being, I used to be a chef. For, I guess anyone that doesn't know that, I don't know if I make that common knowledge. I tend not to show people the worst sides of me before I get to know them. But yeah, I used to be a chef. Ah, you know what? I messed this up. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Can I like? Is there a recipe? Can I make it, or do I need to find it specifically? What if I dig up this slate that's in the wall over here? Will that give me more slate? Oh, nice. That's going to trigger me now to digging up my walls. Yeah. So the first, I used to be a chef, and we sort of London was very. I love the fact that it was a 24-hour city. I think back in that time too, Sydney wasn't quite there yet. I think we're definitely there now, but I think however long ago it was, 15, 20 years, it wasn't quite a 24-hour city yet, Sydney. It was very, very close, but we weren't quite there. So it was definitely sort of new and exciting, and it was great to be able to say go see a play on the West End and sort of always have something to do if you wanted to go out or whatever. And I was a bit younger then, so going out was still something I actually did. Um, but yeah, it was the biggest problem with it was like I obviously have always been a sort of sporting person, and just something simple like I joined a touch football team, but I don't know if it was a particularly cold year that year, but I think we played something like 16 weeks, and of those 16 weeks, only 8 of them we could play because the rest of them were snowed out, and it wasn't like I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, hooray, this is great snow. It was a sort of sleety, horrible. It's just freezing and sheets of ice are smashing you in the face kind of snow. So it's sport and sort of outdoors was definitely something I missed a lot about living over there. I also know that um, whenever everyone used to say to us, you wait until you get summer in England. There's no more beautiful place in the world than summer in England, which is probably true. It was extremely beautiful there, obviously with the rolling green grass and what have you, stunning. But what nobody tells you is that summer lasts about 3 weeks before it goes back to being horrible and miserable. No, not horrible and miserable, I guess, but yeah, it doesn't last very long, the whole summer thing. And what the locals do, because they very rarely actually get to see huge amounts of sun, as soon as it gets above like, I don't know, 24, 25 degrees, every one of these people whips off the old uh, suit and tie and what have you and gets down into their underwear and then heads out into the park to work on their suntan, which was another interesting concept for me to have to deal with the whole half-naked British people sitting in the park thinking 24 degrees was a hot day. I was still rugged up because it was freezing. Anyway, so I missed a lot of the outdoors living. I wonder if this is the best way to do this. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure someone out there is ripping their dick off. Yeah, so I missed a lot of the outdoors, and one of the other things that we used to entertain a lot. I guess one of the things about living in a situation like that is you tend to meet up with a lot of other expats, and you definitely become friends with a lot of people that you didn't know before, and you tend to hang out with other Australians, which is a bit of the sort of irony of, and something I always tried to avoid, to be honest, but it's a bit of the irony of traveling overseas is you tend to meet more of your own people from your own country than you do from other countries. But yeah, so we used to have these big sort of catch ups where a lot of people would get together and have a barbecue, which was great fun. You'd have 20 people in this house. Again, I'm not real sure how keen she was on that, but there's old Captain's sense of direction again. I walked out of my house and went, "Where's me mine?" Just anyway. So we used to have these big sort of things, and I got it in my head one day that I could very easily make a barbecue. And I thought it would be this, a great idea. It'd be very grand. We'd have a whole bunch of people come around, and we turned it into a proper Australian barbecue, a shrimp on the barbie type deal, which to any Australian out there obviously knows how offensive that is, because we don't call them shrimp. We organised this big barbecue. We set it up. We invited people over, and we bought a whole bunch of meat. And then what we realised that we didn't have a barbecue anywhere in the house. And being, I guess, the middle of winter in England, I'm not sure how many other people had access to barbecues either. I don't even know if they sold barbecues in England. I'm sure they did, but. So we were sort of at a loss of what to do, and I went through the old kitchen and found the kitchen wires that inside your oven, the wire that you use to put your oven trays and stuff on. Now this is probably going to trigger some people again, but I have to go get that block of wood. I can't. What am I doing? I can't leave it down there. So you're going to have to watch me walk up the stairs again, which I know. Yeah, so I found two of those wire racks and decided I could use those for a grill quite easily. I don't know why I keep going inside for a crafting table too. I'm pretty sure I can afford 4 bricks. Let's just add it to part of the roof. It'll be a design feature. So I almost swore, but I didn't, because you want to fucking not swear. We found this, found the grates, and then found these sort of roof tiley type things. That's probably not the right term for it. Why is that up there? They were sort of. I wonder if you used to be able to press a button and it would show you, hey, whether or not stuff could spawn. What did I press? F7. I'm gonna run out of room being able to do that too. Should I just go bananas now? Let's just go bananas. We'll build. Let's do. What's that? A stack and a bit. I'm going to get shot by a skeleton too, aren't I? Skeleton. Maybe we'll move the bed. No, we'll just sleep in here. Right. So we built this barbecue. I used 2 of the oven racks, and I found these sort of roof. They weren't like tiles that you put on a roof, but they were the tiles that you put on a balcony of a roof. Now, what we had was sort of a balcony, but not a balcony. Basically, we had to climb outside. Let's paint the picture a little better. My storytelling needs some work. We lived above a shop. I think it was a carpet. You're killing me. I'm going to die before I finish building this house. I think it was a carpet shop that we lived above, and I believe the owner of the house that we lived in either owned the carpet shop or knew the owner of the carpet shop. I don't know. But so we lived above a retail place, being a carpet shop, as I said. And it had like an awning on top, where you write your name and whatever. And that we sort of treated like a balcony. Now, I'm not sure it was necessarily a balcony because, like I said, we had to sort of climb out of the. Why is it doing that? I'm sure it's. Don't fall down. I'm sure it's something. It was, yeah. So it was this awning that we had set up, or that we used to use as sort of a balcony. So we'd go out there and have a couple of drinks when it got hot. The 4 days a year it got hot, and whatnot. So we decided to have our barbecue out there. So I found this this tile thing that I put on the ground of it. I found 2 or 3 bricks to make the sort of side of the oven wall, if you would, and then I found these tile things that were going to be the base, and then I went and found barbecue bricks. Am I doing something? Like, I kind of like how it's customizable like that, but maybe do I need to go? Oh no, that's not going to work. Someone tell me. Someone save me from this. Oh, I guess that sort of worked. Do I need to be like closer? Maybe that's it. So we built this barbecue. Went and bought the barbecue bricks and whatnot. Set it on fire. Went away for a little bit. Came back, roaring fire. This perfect oven. It was airproof and let just enough wind into, or just enough air in to keep the fire burning hot, but not so much that you couldn't cook on it. And cooked up an absolute feast for however many people there were there. 20 or so, I think it was. And it was a good night. Everyone got drunk. Fire just bubbling along, especially with the sort of colder. This is honestly going to take me a week. I wonder if I need to be like closer to the edge or something. If this is another corner piece, we might just leave with a big hole in the roof. All right, big hole in the roof it is. This is making me want to load up old League of Legends and see if I can get those 18 LP back from the other night. So big party. Everyone had a drink. Food was magnificent. It ended up being a really good night. Most of us went to bed. Well, pretty much all of us did eventually, but it got to the point at about 4 o'clock in the morning where I'm pretty sure I woke up pretty sure I was having a stroke because I could smell the whole burning toast, burning tar thing. And I was pretty sure that was, I'd had too much to drink and that was going to be the end of me. But it turns out that the coals and what have you had been left on and the heat had burnt through whatever tile it was that I thought would be suitable for the base of a barbecue. And it sort of burnt through the roof down into the carpet shop down below. Now, we were obviously very lucky it didn't do a huge amount of damage and or hurt anybody and or catch on fire. But I believe the owner of the place wasn't overly happy with the fact that we needed the roof repaired. I believe we had to pay for it from memory. It was a while ago, but I'm pretty sure people weren't overly happy with that whole. The owner especially wasn't overly happy with that whole experience. So the flatmate that we live with, like I said, I think she sort of blamed me for that. I'm not sure how, just because I built the thing, started the fire, cooked all the food, and sort of forgot that I'd done that. I don't really see why I was the one that was held responsible for it. But I sort of took it on the chin, apologised, and we moved on from there. And then the space of about 3 or 4 weeks later, there was an issue with our hot water system. Something had happened, something had played up. And at the time, because I was sort of a fourth person living in a sort of 3-bedroom house as it was, there wasn't really enough cupboard space allocated to me for me to be able to store my stuff. So I stored it in the same cupboard as the hot water system. It's all of my clothes, bags, what have you. Oh, everything just froze. the game really didn't want me to place that block there for some reason. Maybe because I'd done too many in a row that weren't side blocks. Yeah, so I had used that as my storage space. So I got home from work, and literally all of my stuff was all over the house. Now, I'm not talking she'd taken a little bit of my stuff or thrown it all in our room or whatever. She'd literally grabbed handfuls of my clothing, handfuls of my stuff, my things, my bags, and just thrown them everywhere around the house, like a psychopath. So she was. I think we decided to move out of that place. It didn't suit us much longer. I think she was a lot happier. Like I said, she was doing, I think, a PhD, and I think she was under a lot of stress. So I guess I can sort of understand why those one or two little misunderstandings might have got her to the point where she didn't want to live with us anymore.